Good day everyone, I'm Rosa Nadige and my partner Joshua Pedrosa, and we will report Chapter 9, Identifying Market Segmentation and Targets. So, what's the difference between segmentation and targeting? Market segmentation is not about targeting specific customers, but about creating groups based on the different traits that they share. Once you've segmented your market, you might look at the target segment. Targeting itself is the action of looking at an already defined market segment and asking yourself how you can reach them specifically. One way to better explain how segmentation and targeting are different but work together is via the STP marketing model. STP or segmentation, targeting, positioning is a three-step approach that combines each of the above practices to hone in and successfully market the consumers. First, we segment the audience using market segmentation practices. Next, we choose which of those segments to target. Finally, we use this information to guide our positioning and identify most effective marketing mix to reach the audience we want to focus on. It's just a process of identifying your consumers or customers. Next one is segmentation groups customers based on different factors and allows you to apply a message that speaks directly to their needs. There are four main types of market segmentation. Types of market segmentation: demographic, psychographic, geographic, and behavioral. Each provide different ways to look at your customer base and define what it is that will help you sell to them. The first one is geographic segmentation. Geographic segmentation is a common strategy when you serve customers in a particular area or even your broad target audience has different preferences based on where they are located. It involves grouping potential customers by country, state, region, city, or even neighborhood. For example, in selling seasonal products such as coats and winter gear, swimwear, and beach attire, often are marketed to geographic segments. Winter gear is promoted for several months, leading up to late fall in the Midwest and Northwest region of the United States, where harsh weather is common. Beach attire is often targeted year-round in California and much of Florida. In areas with distinct winter, spring, fall, and summer seasons, swimwear normally is promoted for a few months, including late spring and summer swimming season. So the next one is demographic segmentation. Demographic segmentation is the process of dividing your market into segments. There are plenty of ways to segment markets using demographics. The most commonly used demographic segmentation factors are age, gender, ethnicity, income, level of education, religion, occupation, and family structure. The simplest way to adopt demographic segmentation is by using factors like age and gender, but there are many non-characters traits that you can focus on. Income and family structure are particularly useful factors for retailers, allowing them to single or certain groups who might be interested in purchasing specific products. So let's look at how some variables might work for your business. Segmenting based on age. It's not a universal truth. It's fair to say that people different ages often have different desires and expectation. So, totoo naman yun, diba? Kung ano yung age bracket mo, ayun yung pangangailangan mo. Kapag bata ka, syempre, unti pa lang yung responsibilities mo. Unti pa lang yung alam mo. Unti pa lang yung mga gusto mo. Segmenting based on gender. Gender-specific marketing can be a very powerful tool when done well. but it's increasingly important to consider your message. Effective gender marketing is not about playing up gender stereotypes, but about presenting clear, effective, and targeted marketing. An excellent example of this is our client War Paint for Men, a men's makeup brand that provides clear and effective marketing towards their chosen market segment. From the brand name, the imagery, to the content, their message is crystal clear. So dito naman sa gender, syempre dito, ayun nga sinabi na di dapat tayo mag-gender stereotypes, so segmenting based on income and occupation. A very useful market tool is to segment by occupation or related demographics, such as income bracket or the level of education the person has reached. Students are the frequent target of markets, as segment were easily defined and have unique interests and needs. Perhaps the most common of these strategies is income-related segmentation. Marketers find this tool useful as people in different income brackets can have drastically different approaches to make purchases. Crudely speaking, those in lower brackets are more likely to be swayed by good value, whereas those with more disposable income will be happier to spend more for a better product. So ayun nga, kung magbibase ka naman sa income and occupation, isipin mo, yung sa mga, di ba may mga class, yung mga class A, class B, mga ganun, yung parang nahati yung mga tao sa way of living nila. Isipin mo nun, yung mahirap, mabibenta mo ba siya ng mga mamahaling mga bagay? Syempre hindi, di ba? Kasi mas iisipin nila kung ano yung mas better or ano yung mas magiging swak sa budget nila. Doon papasok yung ang pag-iisip nila sa pagbibili ng mga bagay. So, aalamin mo talaga na kung kaya ba ng tao bilhin yung mga bagay na yon, or kung ano yung work nila or occupation nila to sustain the needs, kung mahal ba yun or mura, ganun. Segmenting based on cultural background. Demographic segmentation also allows us to group our customers by ethnicity, religion, and nationality. This is perhaps more useful for those in the food sector, particularly for business selling food or products from specific cuisines. So, dun sa cultural background, pasok na natin ulit yung mga Muslims. Diba, hindi sila kumakain ng mga porks. Hindi sila kumakain ng porks. So, kung ikaw, nagbibenta ka ng pagkain, and then, yung sa community mo is more on mga Islams or mga Muslims, hindi naman sila kumakain ng pork, pero yung binibenta mo is pork chop and everything, lahat may pork. So, tingin mo ba, parang mag-ano ba sa kanila yun, mas magiging swak ba yun sa kung ano pangangailangan ng mga tao? Syempre hindi, di ba? Kasi hindi sila kumakain ng pork, so hindi nila kailangan yun, hindi nila bibilin yun. Ganun. Kaya, importanteng malaman kung ano yung kultura nung mga customers mo. So, on family status, we can find our final group of demographic traits in the home, looking at marital status, family structure, for instance, how many children a family has, and the life stages of those in each family. This could include things like how for each child is into their education, whether the person is renting their home or owns it, and in case of the latter, whether or not they have paid their mortgage off. So, kung magbibase ka naman sa family status, titignan mo kung malaki ba yung pamilya niya or maliit. Kung extended ba siya, kapag extended family, mas marami kang pangangailangan, mas maraming budget na kailangan. So, importante din na malaman yung family status kasi, yun, malalaman mo kung kaya ba nilang ma-sustain or kaya ba nilang ma-afford yung product na ipropose mo or ibibenta mo sa kanila.
Psychographic segmentation. Psychographics is the science of using psychology and demographics to better understand consumers. In psychographic segmentation, buyers are divided into groups on the basis of psychological or personality traits, lifestyle, or values. People within the same demographic group can exhibit very different psychographic profiles. One of the most popular commercially available classification system based on psychographic measurements is Strategic Business Insights. So yung psychographic segmentation, yung tinutukoy bilang isang diskarte sa paghihiwalay sa merkado kung saan nabuo ang mga pangkat ayon sa psychological na ugali na nakaka-impluwensya sa mga kaugalian sa pagkonsumo na inilabas mula sa pamumuhay at kagustuhan ng mga tao. Pangunahin itong isinasagawa batay sa paano iniisip ng mga tao at ano ang hinahangad nilang maging buhay. Behavioral segmentation. Although psychographic segmentation can provide a richer understanding of consumers, some marketers fault it for being somewhat removed from actual consumers' behavior. In behavioral segmentation, marketers divide buyers into groups on the basis of their knowledge of, attitude toward, use of, or response to a product. So yung behavioral segmentation, isang uri daw to ng segmentation na naghihiwalay sa mga tao sa iba't ibang mga pangkat na mayroong isang tiyak na pattern ng pag-uugali na pareho. Maaaring magbahagi ang mga gumagamit ng parehong yugto ng life cycle, dating binili ng mga particular na produkto o may mga katulad na reaksyon sa iyong mga mensahe. So ito yung mga nilalaman ng behavioral segmentation. First, needs and benefits. Not everyone who buys a product has the same needs or wants the same benefits from it. Needs-based or benefit-based segmentation identifies distinct market segments with clear marketing implications. Sa nilalaman ng needs and benefits, enthusiasts, image seekers, savvy shoppers, traditionalists, satisfied seekers, and overwhelmed. First is enthusiasts, 12% of the market. Skewing female, their average income is about $76,000 a year. About 3% are luxury enthusiasts who skew more male with a higher income. Next is image seekers, 20% of the market. The only segment that skew male with an average age of 35, they use wine basically as a badge to say who they are and they are willing to pay more to make sure they're getting the right bottle. Savvy shoppers, 50% of the market. They love to shop and believe they don't have to spend a lot to get a good bottle of wine. Happy to use the bargain bin. Next, traditionalists, 16% of the market. With very traditional values, they like to buy brands they've heard and from wineries that have been around a long time. Their average age is 50 and they are 68% female. Next, satisfied seekers, 14% of the market. Not knowing much about wine, they tend to buy the same brands. About half of what they drink is white Zinfandel. Last is overwhelmed, 20% of the market. A potentially attractive target market. They find purchasing wine confusing. And next, decision roles. It is easy to identify the buyer for many products. In the United States, men normally choose their shaving equipment and women choose their pantyhose. But even here, marketers must be careful in making targeting decisions because buying rules change. People play 5 roles in a buying decision: initiator, influencer, decider, buyer, and user. For example, assume a wife initiates a purchase by requesting a new treadmill for her birthday. The husband may then seek information from many sources, including his best friend who has a treadmill and is a key influencer in what models to consider. After presenting the alternative choices to his wife, he purchases her preferred model, which ends up being used by the entire family. Different people are playing different roles, but all are crucial in the decision process and ultimate consumer satisfaction. Next, user and usage-related variables. Many marketers believe variables related to user or their usage, occasions, user status, usage rate, buyer readiness stage, and loyalty status are good starting points for constructing market segments. So first, occasions. Occasions mark a time of day, week, month, year, or other well-defined temporal aspects of a consumer's life. We can distinguish buyers according to the occasion when they develop a need, purchase a product, or use a product. For example, air travel is triggered by occasions related to business, vacation, or family. Occasion segmentation can help expand product usage. Next, user status. Every product has its non-users, ex-users, potential users, first-time users, and regular users. Blood banks cannot rely only on regular donors to supply blood. They must also recruit new first-time donors and contact ex-donors, each with a different marketing strategy. The key of attracting potential users or even possibly or just lack knowledge of the product or brand benefits. Included in the potential user group are consumers who will become users in connection with some life stage or event. So next is usage rate. We can segment markets into light, medium, and heavy product users. Heavy users are often a small slice but account for a high percentage of total consumption. Heavy beer drinkers account for 87% of beer consumption, almost 7 times as much as light drinkers. Marketers would rather attract one heavy user than several light users. A potential problem, however, is that heavy users are often either extremely loyal to one brand or never loyal to any brand and always looking for the lowest price. They also may have less room to expand their purchase and consumption. Light users may be more responsive to new marketing appeals. So next, buyer readiness stage. Some people are unaware of the product. Some are aware, some are informed, some are interested, some desire the product, and some intend to buy. To help characterize how many people are at different stages and how well they have converted people from one stage to another. So next is loyalty status. Marketers usually envision 4 groups based on brand loyalty status. First is hardcore loyals, consumers who buy only one brand all the time. Second, split loyals, consumers who are loyal to 2 or 3 brands. Third is shifting loyals, consumers who shift loyalty from one brand to another. Switchers, consumers who show no loyalty to any brand. A company can learn a great deal by analyzing degrees of brand loyalty. Hardcore loyals can help identify the product's strengths. Split loyals can show the firm which brands are most competitive with its own, and by looking at customers dropping its brand, the company can learn about its marketing weaknesses and attempt to correct them. One caution: what appear to be brand loyal purchase patterns may reflect habit, indifference, a low price, a high switching cost, or the unavailability of other brands. So next, attitude. 5 consumer attitudes about products are enthusiastic, positive, indifferent, negative, and hostile. Workers in a political campaign use attitude to determine how much time and effort to spend with each voter. They thank enthusiastic voters and remind them to vote, reinforce those who are positively disposed, try to win the votes of indifferent voters, and spend no time trying to change the attitude of negative and hostile voters. So last, multiple bases. Combining different behavioral bases can provide a more comprehensive and cohesive view of a market and its segment. How should business markets be segmented? We can segment business markets with some of the same variables we use in consumer markets, such as geography, benefits of, and usage rate. But business marketers also use other variables. Table 9.5 shows one set of these. The demographic variables are the most important, followed by the operating variables down to the personal characteristic of the buyer. The table lists major questions that business marketers should ask in determining which segment and customers to serve. A rubber tire company can sell tires to manufacturers of automobiles, trucks, farm tractors, forklift trucks, or aircraft. Within a chosen target industry, it can further segment by company size and set up separate operations for selling to large and small customers. A company can segment further by purchase criteria. Government laboratories need low prices and service contracts for scientific equipment. University laboratories need equipment that requires little service, and industrial lab need equipment that is highly reliable and accurate. Business marketers generally identify segments through a sequential process. Considered an aluminum company. The company first undertook macro segmentation. It looked at which end-use market to serve: automobile, residential, or beverage containers. It chose the residential market, and it needed to determine the most attractive product applications. Semi-finished material, building components, or aluminum mobile homes. Deciding to focus on building components, it considered the best customer size and chose large. The second stage consisted of micro-segmentation. The company distinguished among customers buying on price, service, and quality. Because it had a high service profile, the firm decided to concentrate on the service-motivated segment of the market. Effective segmentation criteria. Not all segmentation schemes are useful. We could divide buyers of table salt into blonde and brunette customers, but hair color is undoubtedly irrelevant to the purchase of salt. Furthermore, if all salt buyers buy the same amount of salt each month, believe all salt is the same and would pay only one price for salt. This market is minimally segmentable from a marketing point of view. To be useful, market segments must rate favorably on 5 key criteria. First, measurable. The size, purchasing power, and characteristics of the segment can be measured. Second, substantial. The segments are large and profitable enough to serve. A segment should be the largest possible homogeneous group worth going after with a tailored marketing program. It would not pay, for example, for an automobile manufacturer to develop cars for people who are under 4 feet tall. Third, accessible. The segments can be effectively reached and served. Fourth, differentiable. The segments are conceptually distinguishable and respond differently to different marketing mix elements and programs. If married and single women respond similarly to a sale on perfume, they do not constitute separate segments. Fifth, actionable. Effective programs can be formulated for attracting and serving the segments. Michael Porter has identified 5 forces that determine the intrinsic long-run attractiveness of a market or market segment. Industry competitors, potential entrants, substitutes, buyers, and suppliers. The threats these forces pose are as follows. First, threat of intense segment rivalry. A segment is unattractive if it already contains numerous, strong, or aggressive competitors. It's even more unattractive if it's stable or declining. If plant capacity must be added in large increments, if fixed costs or exit barriers are high, or if competitors have high stakes in staying in the segment, these conditions will lead to frequent price wars, advertising battles, and new product introductions, and will make it expensive to compete. The mobile phone market has seen fierce competition due to a segment rivalry. Threat of new entrants. The most attractive segment is one on which entry barriers are high and exit barriers are low. Few new firms can enter the industry and poorly performing firms can easily exit. When both entry and exit barriers are high, profit potential is high, but firms face more risks because poorer performing firms stay in and fight it out. When both entry and exit barriers are low, firms easily enter and leave the industry, and returns are stable but low. The worst case occurs when entry barriers are low and exit barriers are high. Here, firms enter during good times but find it hard to leave during bad times. The result is chronic overcapacity and depressed earnings for all. The airline industry has low entry barriers but high exit barriers, leaving all carriers struggling during economic downturns. Third, threat of substitute products. A segment is unattractive when these are actual or potential substitutes for the product. Substitutes place a limit on prices and on profits. If technology advances or competition increases in these substitute industries, prices and profits are likely to fall. Air travel has severely challenged profitability for Greyhound and Amtrak. Fourth, threat of buyers' growing bargaining power. A segment is unattractive if buyers possess strong or growing bargaining power. The rise of retail giants such as Walmart has led some analysts to conclude that the potential profitability of packaged goods companies will become curtailed. Buyers' bargaining power grows when they become more concentrated or organized, when the product represents a significant fraction of their cost, when the product is undifferentiated, when buyer switching costs are low, or when they can integrate upstream. To protect themselves, sellers might select buyers who have the least power to negotiate or switch suppliers. A better defense is developing superiors offer that strong buyers cannot refuse. Fifth, threat of suppliers' growing bargaining power. A segment is unattractive if the company's suppliers are able to raise prices or reduce quantity supplied. Suppliers tend to be powerful when they are concentrated or organized, when they can integrate downstream, when these are few substitutes, when the supplied products is an important input, and when the cost of switching suppliers are high. The best defenses are to build win-to-win relationship with suppliers or use multiple supply sources. Evaluating and selecting the market segments. In evaluating market segments, the firm must look at two factors: the segment's overall attractiveness and the company's objectives and resources. Marketers have a range of continuum of possible levels of segmentation that can guide their target market decisions. Full market coverage. Full market coverage. In undifferentiated marketing, the firm ignores segment difference and goes after the whole market with one offer. It designs a product and a marketing program that will appeal to the broader number of buyers. Multiple segment specialization. When companies target more than one segment, they practice multi-segment marketing. Some firms sell the same product to more than one segment due to its mass appeal, while others manufacture several product lines that appeal to distinctive groups. Single segment concentration. The marketer decides to cater to a single segment only. Also referred to as concentrated marketing, the marketer understands the needs and wants of the segment and focuses on one segment only. Example, Rolex watches. And last, individual marketing. Personalized marketing, also known as one-to-one marketing or individual marketing, is a marketing strategy by which companies leverage data analysis and digital technology to deliver individualized messages and product offerings to current or prospective customers.